Okay. Thank you, all. Remember Uncle Yona earlier of these lands, the Cherokee uncle that came? He said in his language, you remember how they say thank you? Skitsa, skitsa with a G. Skitsa. Skitsa. And then, you know how they say you're welcome? So even in these ways of hearing that word, we've only gone so far because we're translating it back into our own primary language. Might not be our mother tongue, but the primary language that we're using is English. And it's a certain way that we're speaking. So we want to translate it into what we're familiar with. So I think that's kind of a disservice. But we haven't actually gone to the root of the word to really hear what's being said in Skitsa and Hawa. And you know, what's simply too is like in Hawaii, we say aloha. Aloha. And most times people hear the word and they think it means hello and goodbye. Because they're using it for themselves. All this means hello and goodbye. But they never put the effort in to go further to understand what it actually means. And it's been commercialized, it's all over the world. And some people will say that's one of the greatest gifts we've given to the world is aloha. And I'm like, oh, we just gave them hello and goodbye? They already have that. But what happens if you actually learn the word? Get to the root of it. The etymology. Alo, this is your alo. This is the presence that you give, the projection into time and space. This is your alo. This is your kua, your spine. This spine, your vertebrae, you share this vertebrae with all kinds of different relatives. All different animal. Even the fish in this water, they have vertebrae. Just like you, backbone, a spine. And when you eat them, you're ingesting them, you're taking that into your body. So this is our alo. This is our presence. This is what we take in with each other. This is what we get fed by. And then ha is like this wind that is blowing. It's the breath. It's the exhale. It's the breath of life. It's saying that these trees are already animated, but it makes them dance. Go look around. It's a good breezy day. I hope you all had a chance to look up above you and see the leaves falling. You know, I'm in Hawaii. We only have 2 seasons, you know. Hot and wet. I come out here, I get to see the different colors of these trees. I get to see their ha. And they give that breath, ha, and the leaves start falling. I go, oh. How beautiful. So aloha means to be in the presence of all of life. Because our breathing is given to us by others that are breathing for us. Radical indigenous hospitality. You did nothing to earn this. You came into existence. And so here you are. That is aloha. So I want to encourage you all to put in the effort. Take the time. Use the time. Share the time to get to these words. In Hawaii, we have a saying, in the language is life, and in the language there is death. Take it as seriously as you want or as reverently as you want to. And reverence means to be in awe. It's an action. I don't sit here being reverent. I go be reverent. To be in awe of everything around me. So who knows what origin means?
Where something came from.
Oh, yes, source, beginning, commencement, birth, lineage. It comes from a word in the 1400s from Latin, originem, commencement, beginning, right? But let's go a little further, huh? Right? Maybe this word is talking about, you know, the beginning of existence, but that was in the 1560s. That's when the word changed. But in its source of the 1400s in Latin, it was about ancestry, about your people, about what you descended from. It was also a word that said to rise, to get up, to appear above the horizon, like the sun, become visible, be born, be descended, receive life. And figuratively, it means to start, to proceed, to take origin, like the river or a stream, or like this wind, or even to hear rumors. You hear this? And then in the 1600s, guess what it became? that which something derives its being or nature. Origination. I hope you all see that. This is what we're doing. We're finding our origins again. We're getting back to this understanding of our descendancy. To arise, to get up, to e ala e. How many of you know this song?
Yeah.
E ala e, Ka'alekahi kina, ikabowana, kabowana ho honu, pi kaleva du, ikahikina ayakala, e ala e. That is a chant for the sun. And it's in Hawaiian. Well, what did I just share with you? What did I share with you? Origin. And where's that word derived from? Latin. Doesn't it kind of sound like what I just sang? E ala e, awaken and arise. Ka'alekahi kina, there in the east, the sun. Hikamowana, from the depths of the ocean. Kamoana ho honu. Pi'i kaleva, it is climbing up to the heavens, to the highest domains. Kaleva nu'u, to the peak, the precipice. Hikahikina, there in the east. Ayakala, there is the sun. This is the origin. You guys get it or you lost? Okay. Because that's what this is about. It's us finding the consolations of ourselves amongst each other. Yes, there are things happening in our society, but remember, it is also a cultureless culture, not a judgment. But look at what's happening. Why else are you all called here? Because it's missing. When I prayed for brotherhood and for sacred sons, it was because I saw that we as men needed to take action. We needed to start behaving in the ways that we're talking and we're not. And I had to take a hard look at myself because I too am just a man trying to learn how to be a man because I wasn't given everything. And I'm not saying that as a way of lack or scarcity or anything like that. None of us were given everything. And I think that's what's harming us is that we expect so much as if we deserve it. That somehow we're supposed to be limitless. That we have unlimited potential. That we should just grow and grow and grow. Why? Why should we do that? Don't we have 7 billion people? Don't we take enough already? I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have opportunities for yourself to deepen and to have some breadth and some length to your days and to understand the worth of your life is such a heavy thing to carry. Maybe you should come up to task and arise and come forth and proceed to start. What I'm saying is, let yourself be grounded and rooted. It takes time to plant seeds and to nurture them so that they may grow. You have to be patient. You have to give your attention. You have to give your blood, your sweat, and your tears. That's all we have. This doesn't belong to me. Some people over here in this crowd, they're like, wow, you're wearing clothes. It's not because I don't like clothes. It's just I'd rather be with all of them, the elements. Who's been in Sweat Lodge with me so far?
Yeah.
Earth, fire, wind, water, spirit. CHAOSORDER. How do you spell embodiment? EMBODIMENT? Oh, go figure. Chaos and order, it is in your hands. You wield the two things together, then you are now embodied. These things are happening. These are the stories. Get to the origin story. Why do you think the society is the way that it is? Because of the stories that are being told, because of the mythos, the apotheoses of these God. We have to be very careful. We have to use our discernment and choose wisely. Because it's quite simple. The way ancestors come to me, they say, look, you can be like this and make these choices because you see it all around you and that's, it's comfortable. It's convenient. Nothing to anticipate. It's already here. Or you can choose this one. It's spontaneous. It will break you. It will hurt. You will suffer and you will sacrifice and you'll give gifts. It's a beautiful burden and it's spontaneous. It's part of mystery. There's nothing for you to understand. What sounds good? This one. So this is my invitation to you all to continue to make those choices. It's not always just one or two. Maybe it's 7. It's your life. But don't take it for granted. Don't squander it. Back to the origins again. Boom, 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 boom. Back to the understanding, commencement, beginning, horizon, appear above the horizon, become visible. You see what's happening? Clicking my fingers. It's the pattern. It's the rhythm. This is how we learn as children. Many of us that are born did not have songs sung to us to greet us, to come into this life, to come into this world. Many of us were not even given a natural birth. We were C-section. Many of us came out with the umbilical cord wrapped around our neck. Many of us, see, we can keep going down that. Which is understandable and worthy too. But remember the song again. Come back home. Come back to where you're at. Hear it. Hear the beat. Learn the songs. Learn the dances. Come back home. Belong again. So, why doesn't Kale exist? Because how I see myself and what I do is my own. Every single person that looks at me sees me differently. They don't know. I am Kale to them, whatever that may be. But they don't know me, so I don't exist in that way. And there's many layers to this. But what I'm speaking to is that all of you should know that too. That you exist and you don't exist. And, a lot of times it sounds like magic. Being in 2 places at once, 3, 4, 5 places. But it's like your thoughts. You can be right here and still think about someone else and pray for them. You're not too far away. You can still be here and I can say some words. You can feel deeply about them because it's reminding you about some place or someone or something that you've been a part of. And that's what we're all carrying, is memories. And that's why I don't exist in that way. Because when I came with Sacred Sons and talking about we need men of action, not just intention, and for our words to match our behaviors, I wanted to show to myself that I could be that man too. I wanted to remember what that felt like, because I know I had that at some time in my life. So I do it with you all. Remember to remember the original instructions and bring the pieces back together again. So Kale doesn't exist because I too have been crafted by my teachers, those who have guided me. I speak words that aren't purely my own. We share. And they share to me. And they give me a responsibility to carry. And as men, we need that. We need others to guide us. We need them to teach us things, to help us learn how to be human. And a lot of times my learning has come from them, from other people, and from being with them. Non-human, more than human, other than human. This is where you can hear the songs too, because everything is still rhythmic, it's happening. So I have my maker's mark. I'm a maker's mark. It's like when someone makes beautiful knives, right? You have a beautiful knife, they're a blacksmith, you're like, wow, look at this beautiful, elegant knife, and they have that stamp, that maker's mark on it. And you show it to somebody, you're like, oh, I know those people. They're real good at what they do. That's a beautiful knife. It's the same. Iron sharpens iron, man sharpens man. You guys heard that before? Yeah, there's all those things, these things that you're hearing. These are the seeds being planted, being nurtured in all of your hearts and minds, in your bodies, to embody the things. My name is Kale Ka'alekahi. Kale means to be like water, to be watery, fluid, to move. But if you say Kale Kale, it means to drool from your mouth, because you talk too much. And then Kamaki has its own meaning, but I want to share this one. It's a name like Thomas. So in Hawaii, we kind of did a reverse action. We're like, oh, your name's Thomas? I'll just call you Kamaki then. Right? It's got to lay claim to a few things here and there. But that's the name of my father's brother who was murdered on his graduation day. He was shot with a shotgun and died in my father's arms. So he named me after him. And then Maka'u Haole, you guys are going to kick out of this one. Maka'u means fear. To give fear, to be afraid. Strike fear. And Haole means foreigner. I scare foreigners. That's why I got a neck tattoo. And then Ka'alekahi. Ka'ale means the billowing, like a wave rising, clouds forming. That's a ka'ale. And then kahi means one, or first. So it's like a navigator name. It means you see the pattern, right? Like if you surf, you watch the sets. You know, if you're a farmer, you watch the clouds. You see them bunch up. You see them gather up on mountains. So it's a navigator name. The Polynesian people, as we call them today, they have other names for themselves. But just a reference point, they're tracking everything: currents, waves, clouds, birds, short wing, long wing birds. So Ka'alekahi is to see the first pattern, meaning you are aware to the thing before anyone else is. You know when the time is right. But it also means, Ka'ale means to well up. Something that's arising within yourself. Kahi first. Like tears in the eyes. To cry. So my last name means first to cry. Because my family, before they were Ka'alekahi, they had a name of a god. And I don't need to say their name because cameras are on. But this god was one that they prayed to help them shape stone, to create tools for people to use so they can make their boats and their homes and things like that. But then Christianity came, and they had to convert because everyone was dying from diseases. And people had to leave because they were taking the water and they couldn't continue to farm, so they got on the boats. And a lot of those guys on the boats who came over didn't know how to swim. But the people on these islands were amazing swimmers and hunters and really good athletes. So they left and they ended up going to other people's homes in ancestral lands and taking from them. In the fur trade, killing other people's ancestors and whaling. So, you know, my people are part of that too. So we couldn't have the name of the god anymore because we converted to Christianity and there's only one God. So the family made a decision to drop that name and take on the middle name that many of the men carried, even though we're like matrilineal, and put that at the end. But we became patrilineal because of Christianity. So, Ka'alekahi. So, when you make tools to carve into wood, you not just make homes for people to live in and boats for people to travel in, but you also make coffins now for people to put their bodies in when they die. Because that's what we learned how to do when we became Christians. So we take on other funeral rites, other death trades. So we started to make coffins. And we also were the wailers. We would cry for the people so that they knew how to grieve. Because that's what we need to do. We need to grieve for all the things that we've been lost to. Lost to our place in history, lost to our mother tongue, lost to our ancestral homelands, lost to our place in the world, lost to our brotherhood. Now the story that we carry should be the one that we grieve for, so that the emergent culture of awakening will appear. But if we don't do those things, then I don't know what will change, because when I'm looking around, I see everybody doing a lot of things, but they're not grieving so much. And grieving is not a feeling. It's not emotion. Guess what it is? It's an action. like reverence. You have to grieve for the things. Because it's meaningful. Because it matters. Because they're here. And if they weren't here, we wouldn't exist. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for the stars in the sky, to get the call from this planet, as we call it, this honua, to call them in, to call everybody in, come, 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 bring your seed, plant in me. Uncle shared a story with me, and I'll keep it short because he has this beautiful way of speaking. It's like an ancient initiatory language of prayer speak. It moves you along the timeline and crisscrosses them like a spider. He shared a story of the water spider. This planet was just all water. This world. And from the stars, the genetic, the gene, the lineage, the origin of the water spider was called to come here and glide on the water. Searching, 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 scanning, 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 weaving, weaving, weaving. And then dives deep, 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 grabs the earth, and starts to build the land on all of its waves across the water. Creation stories are no joke. Once you start to have that story, you learn that story's got you. You don't got the story. The story now is to live in you. It lives in you, and now you start to act and behave that way. What story, what origin story, what creation story are you living in? And it's a beautiful thing for me to hear Uncle, because I miss my uncles and my teachers. And so when I have one around, I honor them, and I listen to them. I don't put my projections on them because I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's carrying. I don't know what he needs. But I'm there to hear, to be here, to listen. And when you told me that story, I just went off because I got a spider on my hand and on my leg and stuff, you know. I was like, this is a sign. Yeah. In Hawaii, we say, ho'ailona, to see the omen and the sign all around you. So why do we do that? Because we have to look outside of ourselves to see ourselves. Looking in the mirror, asking yourself the own question, giving yourself your own answers, I don't think that's always the best route. But if you start to look around and see our relatives, the ones that you all call upon, because many of you that I come across, you say like, oh, you know, the eagle, the buffalo, the lion, the raven, the shadow, the light, the bear. You got to learn about those animals. And then they'll teach you how to be human. They'll show you how to be human. You watch how they take care of their babies. You watch when they gestate and they give birth to their babies. You watch some elephants do some crazy shit. See what I mean? Origin. Love you, bye. I got about 15 minutes, so I got to get back to the fire. So we don't have so much time. But, yeah, any questions?
How do we connect to our ancestors?
How do we connect to our ancestors? You heckler? First off, let's start with the question. How do we connect to our ancestors? How do we connect to our ancestors? So, that sounds like a question you should answer for yourself. Why are you including we in the question? And possibly, maybe the question needs a little bit more flavor. Maybe it needs a little bit more attention to, especially after what has just been said. Maybe I can say, I don't know my origins. I don't know who my ancestors are. I have never been to my ancestral homeland. I've had a really difficult time even trying to know what their language was and how they spoke. I don't know what animals they praised. I've never been to that environment, so I don't understand the trees. I've never heard those voices or their sweet murmurings in my ear because I've never been to the stream or the creek. So I'm wondering if you could help me get there. A question like that serves you better because it means that you're actually trying. And didn't I start that in the talk? Put a little effort in, please. Damn it. You should all ask yourselves that question. Next one. What's that?
What if I can't go to my homeland?
If you can't go to your homeland,
I could go from Iran, turmoil right now.
that's a question for you to answer.
Well, I guess my question is, if I can't physically be there, are there other ways?
What have you tried?
A lot of visualization, picturing what it is.
This is what I mean. I have nothing to do with Iran. I don't know the language of Farsi. I know they speak that. I know the turmoil that's going on there, but I don't have that calling. You see what I'm saying? So the question is, what if I can't? What have you done? What are you doing? You know, I'm Scottish, too. I'm Norwegian as well. I had the opportunity to go to Scotland and I went. His circumstances are different. Maybe we find our other Iranian brothers who are struggling with the same thing. And rely on them. You know? Next question. What is the ancient future? Rephrase it. Beautiful. When a question is asked like that, normally the answer lies in the question itself. Honoring, right, is what you said. What has come before me? What's going to come after me? All those things. How do I connect to that? Ancient future is just a phrase because it sounds catchy. Ancient past, ancient future, that's all we're doing. It's a beautiful word. It's a beautiful sequencing of words, but it's not what's important. It's meant to get you engaged. What is this ancient future he's talking about? Maybe it's something this thing that I need help with now. How do I see what's come before me? What's coming after me? How do I honor that? Pray. We're all orphans. Like I said in the beginning of the talk. Didn't I? We don't have everything that we wish we could have had. And we're not deserving of everything that we ever want. That's a capitalist spirituality, just to be clear. If you think you deserve a whole lot of stuff, I don't know why, because, I don't know, you're doing pretty good. Ancient future. You are the ancient future. What you do determines what that looks like. My ability to be of service to that is when you show up, I'll do my part, you do yours. Love you. Okay, 10 minutes.
When you're trying to understand origin and learn and respect where you came from and what came before you, how do you know what you're researching is the truth? Because it's all perspective and relative, right? What's the best way to go to start without spinning, without going down a wormhole or spinning yourself out?
Let's address the question. So in the question, you're saying, what is the truth? Yeah? Like what is the truth? And what is the best route to go? And then you said spinning like 5 times. And then you said wormhole or bunny hole. What did you say? Wormhole? Going down a wormhole. So when someone's asking a question, you can see where they're at. You heard him? He just exposed and revealed himself as to where he's at in his life. No judgment. But we help him, right? We have to help him. Now that he's asked the question, it's like, well, so how do you know what is the truth? Right? The truth, from where I come from and how I've learned, doesn't reside in me. There's no personal truth. It's not a personal thing. Because as soon as I take on that personal truth, then guess what I'm stepping into? Individual freedoms. I can do whatever I want. I should do whatever I want. I can be this because I'm holding my truth and this is who I am. It's not a way to stake a claim. It's a way to separate yourself from everyone else. And if that's what you want, then keep going with it. The truth resides out here. Maybe instead of Google searching, you go outside. You take your shoes off. Take your shirt off. Like I said, it's not that I don't like clothes. It's just I'm talking. So, my brother, I love you, Joe. I've seen you show up a lot. I see you carry a lot. You move through a lot of things and it can be difficult. The encouragement is the truth will always be found out here, over there, in places outside of where there's a continual human impact and just manja, manja, manja. That's the spinning. Spins you around because as soon as you start doing that, like I said, the stories, you start reading stories, whatever it may be, they're eating you. They embody you. So be careful of what that is. Before you start searching on your Google, you start going out into the nature. You start understanding what this is, this vessel of your body. Start asking those questions from in here and watch it be revealed. And then you got to do the work, learning your genealogy. Maybe you can't go back to your homeland, to your motherland, because of the things that have happened. But you can still re-indigenize where you're at. And indigenizing, or indigenous, isn't isolated or exclusive to a kind of people that look a certain way. In the word in itself, it means of a place, belonging to. So how do you become of a place? Okoyona, it's in his genes. This trees, this waters, because for generations he's lived here. That's why he's indigenous. Not because he looks like the fantasy you always wanted him to be. Not because he brings out the feathers and the drum and sings you a nice song. That's not why. Because there is an origin story here that he is a part of, that is inside of him, and he's living it every day. Re-indigenization. That's how it goes. I'm not making the rules here. That's just how it works. Go find out for yourself. Walk around and find out. Come back and tell me something different. I'm waiting. And there hasn't been anything different. I hope that helps. Thank you, bro.
How do you balance being of mixed heritage or mixed tribes, especially from one that is more like colonizer, and this is me as an African and a European? I just want to hear how you navigate that in your journey. I feel like a bridge builder and or a walker, and I am in conflict with just walking in between being black, being white, like even looking at it in those two dichotomies. And I see the suffering of today, especially through COVID, just how it still perpetuates, and I feel it internally. And I just want to find peace with it, with my brothers of all colors, but just starting with my own bloodline. So yeah, just even know if that's a question anymore. I just asked you as an indigenous Hawaiian, and
good question. I got you, bro. I hear you, and I feel for you too. What does it mean to be black and white? What does it mean to be brown or yellow? What does any of that mean? Nothing. That's something that you chose to take on as a story, but now you're functioning it. Here we go again. Who's spinning, spinning, spinning? Who's the one spinning? Black is a syndrome. White is a syndrome. Brown is a syndrome. I don't want to be a brown man. It's not just because I'm more than that. Because there's other things going on in my life, in my experiences, and where I've come from, and the people and the places and the things that I love. Why would I disservice them by saying brown? I love my colors. You know me. Black in the west, red in the north, yellow in the east, white in the south, blue up above, green below. I sang you a song to you, remember, because you guys forget.
Don't forget purple.
Purple's everywhere. I'm not here to give you answers to your questions. I'm here to give you some suggestions and some help towards something that you can do for yourselves. Because once this is done, we go back to our families and to our homes. But you can carry this with you. We have to address this thing about race and color. In order for us to do that, we have to understand that there's no such thing as a pure bloodline or lineage. You go back far enough, we're all mixed. You go back far enough, we're all hybrids. And it's not all this, we're all one people bullshit. We're all one world. It's not. We need to take care of what we got. Because not everybody sees it the same. That's why Kali doesn't exist. I come to a place, I know how to care for them in a certain way. If I see you doing the same thing, and you're embodying that too, then I'm like, okay, that's a human that I can vibe with. We're humans, doing human things. But if you come, and you take without giving back, and there's no sacred reciprocity, and you keep taking and asking direct questions, taking without offering anything, of course you're going to say brown, black, white, whatever. Because you're involved in that. Go further. Broaden it. Don't just grow. Have some depth and some breadth to it. What's the point of having a swimming pool that's 20 feet long and only 2 inches deep? You see these things in your life. How do we address it? How do we address it? See the lineage again. Am I an indigenous Hawaiian man? Hawaii isn't even the word that I call myself. It's Kanaka Maoli. We are Kanaka Maoli. Like Indigenous Peoples Day. Uncle Jan, he was just like, we didn't choose that day. They chose it for us. What do I have to celebrate? Where everybody in the city is like that, and they always ask me, like, so, how do you feel about Thanksgiving? Shit, I'm an American citizen too. I eat turkey. You see what I'm saying? This is silly to me. It's ridiculous. We should laugh at that. We should. Now, me saying this is not trying to eliminate the pains and the hurts and the trauma that has been passed down because of the color scheme. That's not what I'm doing. I'm saying we don't need to live in that. That's what I'm saying. You can change the story. Not bypass that shit. Not gaslight nobody. Not overwrap them. Not any of that shit. You know what kind of people wants purity? A people that does that is because they lost their place in history. Here we go again. They lost their stories. They lost their culture. They lost their language. So what are they going to do? Grip to the next thing that gives them supremacy and gives them power. And what is it? I am different from you, and this is why I'm better. Because I'm white. I am better than you, because this is better, and this is why, because I'm black. See how childish it is? It's immature. You, I learned so much from Kareem. Kareem teaches me so much. And he uses the word black. There's no conflict between that. But he also learning his people. He's learning language. He's learning religion of his ancestors. He's learning. And if you ever talk to Kareem, he's just doing his thing and he's responding. And he's just fine. That's his work. All of you have to find your own. You have to find your own. You have to get back to the places. Even just for a little bit. Get a little flavor. We've been eating so much McDonald's. Nobody knows what real food is anymore. Get a taste of the language. Feel it on your tongue. You know what I mean? Say some of the words. Skitsa. Awa. Ane. It's not about appropriation. It's not about any of that. It's for you. Keep it to yourself. Because you were here witnessing it. You gave your presence to it. Didn't I talk about this already? You were here. That's for you. Hold it. It's like what we tell you guys when you go back home. Don't go spilling the beans on everything. Because ain't nobody ready for that shit. You got to keep it to yourself. And you got to live that shit. You got to embody it. You got to be the thing. Not like, hey, I learned this cool thing. This uncle came, taught me a song. Colonizer. You guys understand? This is what we have to start approaching these things if we're going to change anything. It's not how much work you do. It's not how much you fucking hustling. It's not any of that shit. It's are you going to create something in this world for others, to be of service to something, to have a legacy that's not even about you, that you contributed to it, and then when you die, the ones that are closest to you are the only ones that remember you. Because everybody else, they remember, I got to go to that mountain because I got to see that sun appear above the horizon. Oh, shit. I want to become visible. I got to get up and do some shit today. Arise. Receive life. Oh. Maybe I need to understand my ancestors and my lineage, what I'm descended from, what I was born into. Maybe that's that which something receives its being or nature. Origin. Did I confuse you? This is how it works for me. Chat, chat. Chat, chat. Chat, chat. You know where that came from? Yeah, TV show. Baba Boss. A bunch of blind people trying to figure shit out, and they still do the same shit. Watch that show.
Came from way low.
Way low, bro. Watch that show, it'll blow your mind.
You know the guy who wrote that is here, yeah?
Oh, really? Yeah. Right on. Thank you. But this is what cultural innovation is. Yes, I know ceremonies. Yes, I do these other things. Yes, I'm just a man. I'm learning. And I also have a television and a computer. And I see the messages in them too. When I pick up on it, I'm like, oh, that's powerful. Maybe I'll do it at the next Convergence. Yeah, that's what I'll do. And I come with stories and just keep weaving. And I don't have answers. You know, I got stories and, you know, here's a recommendation. Maybe you should take another look at it. All right, is my time up? Yeah, I'm way past my time. It's 5 minutes. Man. Love you guys.
Love you! Give it to him.